ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the MetsXMFanZone live podcast, home of your everything New York Mets. If you guys love our shows, please always tweet, like, and subscribe. And to get more of your Metsies, you guys can check us out on our website at MetsXMFanZone.org. They give you all of spring training. Not only that, gives you all of the winter meetings down here in Nashville. I am down here at Nashville getting the scopes of all of your Mets news. So we got lots of ground to cover. We want to hear about the Yamamoto move. We want to hear about what's going on with Juan Soto. We're hearing about what's going on the plate with pitching, because that's the most important thing that the Mets should be looking forward in 2024, and what David Stern is planning on doing in 2024, because that's the most important part, is to get the Mets to another World Series, get them into another, winning ways. And plus, with the whole new manager, the Mets made a lot of front office moves. They made a lot of really good coaching moves, which I like the Gibson move. John Gibson is probably an idol of mine. I really love him. He's such a great guy. I don't know if a lot of people know who he is. He's been with Oakland. He's been with the Blue Jays. He's been with a lot of teams. I know when I was gonna say 13, 14 years old, I played in his camp, and he taught me the ways. And I mean, what a gentleman! Really, really nice guy. So I think that was really a good move. I think for the Mets to pick up Gibson, I love it, absolutely. So a lot of you guys have noticed that I haven't been doing my podcast the last day. Today is day 2 of the winter meetings down here in Nashville. I flew down here the other day, and I was so sick, absolutely sick as a dog. It was right before I flew down. I said to my wife, I said, honey, I said, I'm not. Why? What's the matter? I said, I kind of, feel a little off. And like, well, then don't go to Nashville. Stay home. So I'm like, I don't know. My commitment is, to report Mets news and to give it to all my fans, that listen to the podcast. Like, I wouldn't go. So I'm like, So I ended up coming down here. I met a lot of people, really cool people, from other teams that I've never met before. I met who was it yesterday? God, I met so many people I can't even name you all of them. Rod Seager, I met. One of the players. What's it? I met guy in Miami. I mean, there were so many guys I've met. I mean, last 24 hours, it was pretty interesting. And they were like, "Oh, cool, nice to meet you, Papa Buck." Got a lot of autographs. Now, to let you guys know, I will be doing a raffle next month. Well, actually, no, it's going to be the raffle by the end of this month, going towards the end of this month. Some signed autographs. I will, gladly let everybody know on how to do that. You could probably do it on our website, which is we'll have the link, and we'll start linking things on our shows. But that's gonna be interesting. A lot of cool signed autographs that I've met, and we'll give them a. Now, I know a lot of you guys want to know what's going on with the Mets. So that's the whole point of me going on here, isn't it? Okay, so here's the deal with the Yamamoto. Now, we were told down here in Nashville that Yamamoto is not going to make any sudden moves just yet. We are hearing that in the beginning of next week there might be talks with Mets. The Mets are the front runners on that. Yankees are not in that mix. I don't know where people are coming. I don't know where some of these reporters are saying that the Yankees are in the mix of there. Chicago is also in the mix, and also the Dodgers are in the mix. So it's the Mets first, Dodgers, and then Chicago. Somebody was telling me today. It was a guy I was just happened to pass by early this morning. He goes, "Oh, did you hear him? I care what." He goes, "Oh, Miami might be in the mix for him." No, Miami's not in the mix. I don't. Just listen. It's speculation. It's just what it is. It makes me laugh because on how people think they know everything. Listen. I don't know everything. I'm not always right 110%. But I'll tell you guys one thing though. If you are hearing and watching things, no one knows for sure. Nobody knows. I mean, look, communications get misled all the time, and then we go and report it. We're like, oh, well, hear this. So, no, there's no talks with Miami with Yamamoto. They're right now. Miami is trying to rebuild their farm system, and they're trying to really fix their minor league system too. So they're not in any competitiveness right now. They're still looking to rebuild within. So, plus with their GM leaving, and there has been so many. Well, there has been so many things that have been going wrong. And I apologize. Uh, so we are not hearing anything in regards to the Yamamoto going to Miami. But again, Mets are first in candidates. The Mets are number one when the talks negotiations plan on happening in the start of next week. So we're hearing probably Sunday, Monday for the New York Mets and the Yamamoto to actually make something happen. There definitely will be a deal done before Christmas, and that way everybody could get their Yamamoto merchandising. But I will tell you guys one thing: the New York Mets are 50-50 chance of signing him. I mean, the Dodgers are very heavy. The Dodgers are in heavily pursued in getting Yamamoto. Don't know what the price tag is going to look like if the Dodgers are going to go and do that. I know I was talking to with top execs there at the Dodgers today down here, and they were like, "Hell, Yamamoto sounds really good with our team," so they're planning on, hey, maybe that could be a good move there. So I mean, again, speculation after speculation. So we don't know exactly, but it could very well be that the Dodgers are in pursuit of getting Yamamoto instead of going out, maybe getting a Juan Soto or something. Now, I will tell you guys one thing: a turn of events. Now, you guys have been hearing, Yamamoto, Juan Soto possibly going to Yankees, right? You guys have been hearing that news. Well, news might be changing. We are hearing that the Mets are now the second top runners for Juan Soto. Now, we when I was talking with Yamamoto's agent earlier this morning, they were saying that Mets are in the top minority. Now we don't know. I took it as okay, maybe Mets are in consideration. Are they possibly, somewhere? Could that be a move for the Mets to go with? So it could very well likely be that the Mets are in pursuit of Juan Soto. Now, do the Mets need a good DH? Definitely, because they need to get a good backup DH if they really wanted to, you know, have competitiveness there. Could Juan Soto be a good fit for the Mets on that DH spot? Could very well be. I just don't see that the Mets going to trade anybody. But they're saying it. But from what I was talking with Mets officials this morning, that Brett Beatty is not in long terms with the New York Mets. Now that could change in the next upcoming couple of weeks. Beatty is not in the future with the Mets. We don't know why. I don't know why it was being brought in a conversation. But as much as I like Brett Beatty, I think Brett Beatty is a very good player. I think he still has a lot to learn. I just don't understand why he's not in any future plans. But from talking with top officials, that Brett Beatty could very well be in a trade somewhere, and a lot of people were asking me, could Jeff McNeil also go too? Jeff McNeil is going to stay with the Mets. So I know it's people are very up and down with Jeff McNeil because of what Jeff McNeil did last year and what Jeff McNeil did the year before that. So McNeil has a good year, a bad year, a good year, a bad year. Maybe this year could be a good year for Jeff McNeil because Jeff McNeil was having a good start. He was having a good ending of this year. So maybe we start to see Jeff McNeil starting to become a little bit better again. That could be a possibility. And then going into the 2023, 25 season, maybe we might see something there. So, due to, the contract that he has left with the Mets. So, will we see Jeff McNeil end up staying? 110%, definitely. But I don't see the Mets doing any sort of trades because the Mets are probably going to make some moves from here on in, but not any trades. I don't see, even though they were talking about maybe Brett Beatty maybe going somewhere. No, I don't see that. I just see more of the Mets going to pick up players more than they are going to release people or trade people in any sort of capacity. Even though Juan Soto is more of a trade suitor for Mets, I just don't think that the Mets need to really right now give up anybody. They need to really bring in people, not get rid of anybody. So I think right now what we see is, do with Daniel Vogelbach really gone. That was a little bit of a plus because he really didn't do much for the team in 2023. Going into the 24 season, I think that was better luck that the Mets had a 1 year on him because now we go and we picked up a good, pretty decent bats for him. So, and keeping DJ Stewart, which was very smart for the Mets. I think DJ Stewart had a really good 23 season. So, him, Daniel Vogelbach and bringing DJ Stewart on board was very smart. So I really do think that was a good move in itself. But in regards to any updates this morning and any moves, the latest is Yamamoto. Mets are in top priority. Talking with him next week. What are we going to see out of in the winter meetings? Probably not much for Mets. I think it's. I look at it this way. I think it's going to be one or two things. Either the Mets go out and get an outfielder, which we are hearing. We are hearing in reports that the Mets are looking at an outfielder. And the Mets are also in the plans of getting maybe a DH guy, an extra DH guy. I don't think that Mets need to really worry in that department, in my honest opinion. I mean, Do we need a couple more players there for hitting? Yeah, but I think that pitching is the most priority right now. Now, a lot of you also say what's going on with Jordan Montgomery, what's going on with Snail. I know I was reading I was reading your comments yesterday. Pardon me. I know you guys were reading. I was reading the comments yesterday, and you guys are saying, "Could Blake Snell, be a very likeliness coming to the New York Mets?" 50-50 shot. It really is. I know I was talking with a couple of San Diego people, and like, oh, we want to keep him, and then again, he wants to go and branch out to another team. Pretty much try out somewhere else. Uh, his people are saying, and he threw out a tweet yesterday saying, I don't mind going to a big market. So, with that being said, could it be New York? Could it be maybe L.A.? We don't know, but the fascination of him maybe being in New York could very well be a likeliness of him joining the New York Mets. And I think that maybe on a 4 or 5 year deal at, say, 180, 190, maybe close to 200 million for Blake Snell for 4 or 5 years could very well be on a likeliness. But also the Mets could probably get Jordan Montgomery, which is also a top priority on Mets list. The Mets are, will like to. I think their plan B is Jordan Montgomery. If the Mets don't go out and pursue maybe Yamamoto, go out and get the other Japanese player, or Ohtani. I don't see Ohtani. He expressed it clearly that he doesn't want to be in New York, so he clearly would like to stay on the West Coast. But I look at it this way: one or two ways are going to happen here in the winter meetings. Either the Mets go out and actually get either Blake Snell or Yamamoto, or Plan B, the Mets go and get either Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, or they go and get, a staggering starting pitcher. Somebody that's worth to be in that rotation. Or the Mets go get Ohtani. I don't see that happening. It was, not in the cards with Ohtani. I just don't think Ohtani deserves it here. I mean, especially if you're not pitching and we're using you as a utility hitter, then I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no to that. Because you don't know. I look at it this way. You don't know exactly what type of player he's going to be if he's not going to be thrown. Because you know him as a pitcher, know him as a hitter, and the Mets are not looking to just get it, just a hitter. Especially if he craps the bed and he starts striking out at least 100 times throughout the year. So I just don't think that the Mets are going to chance that and not have you as a pitcher. So that's off the card. The Mets need to go out and get value pitching. Pitching is what wins series. Pitching is what wins World Series. And the Mets need to go out and actually do that. Now, is the likeliness of Blake Snell? Is in the likeliness of Yamamoto? Is in the likeliness of Jordan Montgomery? Are those three guys willing to be worth the headache in doing that? That's the possibility of the chances being made. And do I see the Mets getting those two guys? Yes. I think Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery are going to be New York Mets. I think are the price tags a little high? Maybe. I probably would say Jordan Montgomery 4 or 5 year deal, maybe at 180, maybe at 140, possibly around that era. Same thing for Blake Snell. I probably say around that too. But I do think that the Mets got high cards. The Mets got really good hitting, and of course, the Mets need to go out and get that pitching. Pitching is what wins games, and we pitching was terrible for the Mets last year. You know, we had Verlander came off, came in, had a pretty decent start, got hot, got rid of. Same thing with Scherzer. Came in, he was here for a couple of years, which we loved. We liked the fact that Scherzer was here for quite a while, and then what do you call it? Just left. We ended up getting rid of it. But you know what? I think the Mets knew exactly what was going to happen with Scherzer. I think Scherzer doesn't have what it takes anymore. I think the man's done, in my opinion, and he's getting hurt more and more. So was that smart for Mets to do? Yes, 110%. But bring me in valuable pitchers that I know that have good 4, 5, 6 years, maybe 7. Jordan Montgomery, he's not that old. It's Blake Snell, not that old either. So I mean, these two guys could be very core guys to be brought in, and especially for Mets. And we know that Blake Snell, he's got that World Series under his belt. Could he do it with the New York Mets? Let's see if we can get him first. I think that the Mets are likeliness of getting him. I think he would make a real. I think, in my opinion, he would be good for the New York Mets. He would be like that Jacob deGrom that we never had, and that's the truth. And I don't give it, and all credit to Jacob deGrom. I love Jake. I think Jake is still one of my favorite pitchers in the past 10 years or so. But I mean, all due credit. And let's call the spade out there that Jacob deGrom was great when he was with the New York Mets. Now moving over to another torch, could Senga be that guy? We always say, hey, we got pitching. And we don't give Senga enough credit because Senga really did have a good year with the Mets this year. And you never know. He could be your future ace. I mean, here for a very long time. He could be Cy Young. So, I mean, a lot of stake, a lot of movement going to happen in the next upcoming couple of days. You guys going to be seeing some moves. Maybe not so much with Mets. Going to hear a lot of moves around the league. But I will say one or two scenarios are going to happen here. Mets go and get Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery and forget Yamamoto and the other Japanese pitcher. And it was so funny was because we're hearing, oh, well, it was at a high price tag of $250 million. No, that's not true, too. That's bullshit because that was just a reporter trying to just make head news. We all make head news, but that's what it is. It's not. That's false. It's not true. So, well, that's my reporting for today. Here at Nashville, I'm down here, guys. Well, it was so funny because somebody mentioned, did I see you on MLB Tonight? I was actually. It was funny because when somebody told me this yesterday, I was they had the MLB booth upstairs in the hotel that we're staying in, and I was talking with this Nashville singer down here, and I'm a big singer, so this is my side, a hobby. My side thing is I love singing. I'm a Sinatra guy, and I like singing Frank, and they were like, oh, what do you call it? I was right next to this guy when they did a segment with him on on MLB, and he was singing, he was rocking with the guitar. I was there. I was behind the column, and I think I was just getting ready to go up to the room, and I was like, oh shit, this guy's good about to sing on the MLB, and then somebody goes, oh wait a minute, hold on, I think I saw you in the background of the segment, and I'm like, oh, didn't even know I was even in the shot. So, yeah, so I'm staying in the same hotel everybody else is. So, all the reporters and all of us. So, so hopefully we get to hear some news today. I'm probably gonna be down here for the next day or so. Stay down here for day 3. Probably be here until maybe Wednesday or Thursday. Don't know exactly, but once I know more about what's going on with the Mets, I'll definitely keep you guys updated and with the news. My colleagues are down here also as well, so they'll keep me in the loops of things. My staff, and hopefully we'll let you guys know what's going on. But in regards to any news out of Met camp, what we are hearing as of right now, that the likeliness of Mets maybe going out and getting Yamamoto, right now it's slim. Right now it's cutting very thin. But the Mets are the Mets are going to be the first to talk with Yamamoto Sunday or Monday. That's kind of like where we're hearing at right now. In regards to Jordan Montgomery or Blake Snell, those are very high. They're very high. More on Jordan Montgomery than they are with Blake Snell. But those two guys could be coming in together. So that's the likeliness of what we're hearing too. So hopefully I'm able to report these when it comes to, and I think you guys will like the news when I report it. So stay updated with me. I'll keep you guys updated. And obviously, let's keep the conversation open. Keep it polite. Keep it reasonable. And we'll see you guys in our next show. Here in Nashville, I'm Anthony. You're here on the MetsXMFanZone Live podcast. And of course, you got any questions, any concerns, please feel free to write them in the comments, because I'm willing to answer your questions on our next live show. So hopefully they'll come too. We'll be live later today also at the 6 p.m. hour to give you also updated news on your Mets. So be safe, be well, and I'd like to thank you guys for listening here. I'm Anthony. We're here at Nashville for the winter meetings, and we'll see you guys real soon.